Okay, hello everybody. I'm so glad that you are either here live or watching the recording. We have a really special, some very special guests to teach us in the ways of growing internationally. So many of us were at the convention in Utah this summer, and I got to sit in on a really great presentation about Young Living's growth, the different areas that they are moving into different countries, and also just all of the updates that are happening with our virtual office and ways that we can know how to get plugged in to know how to help people as our teams grow internationally. So I have a few gentlemen, Jared and Brandon, on from corporate, and as well as Boyd Price, and they are going to just kind of kick us off with Young Living's vision of growing internationally and how we can help our teams to know what to do whenever a member either has a family or friend in another country that would like to join Young Living. So thank you all so much, and I'll just kind of let you kick it off from here.
Okay. Why don't we start? I know Jared's might have to leave, but he has some information in our BO he could kind of go through and show everybody where that is and kind of walk through some of that information. Jared, you want to go ahead and do that first?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Great.
Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
What do you see? Do you see welcome?
Yes.
Hopefully it's not some of my other screens. Okay, right. Good.
Yeah.
You might get a little more than you bargained for this call. Okay, so when I was on the international team, some of the complaints that we had heard over and over and over again was building internationally, or members having problems with trying to help their members internationally to grow. And so I don't know if anybody has seen this in there, where there's this new international tab in the VO. So we put this together, this international tab, and this is basically any open market you can go into, and you can click on any market. This is one giant page for now. There is some conversations of making adjustments with this, but we can go to, let's see, Singapore is a good example. So it's going to drop us down to Singapore. So the beautiful thing about this page is, if you're a member, you can go in and click and view the promotions that are currently happening in Singapore. So if you have a downline or you know somebody in Singapore, and you can reach out to them, and you're starting to have this conversation of essential oils, and we see that maybe they're, I don't know if I can be being recorded right, compliant. So what's a compliant way of saying this? If they have a need, right, for a specific essential oil, in that one you see that it comes up and it's now on promotion, that can be your trigger to get them into essential oils, right? So you can see through this link what those are. These links, some of them can be very difficult to read, just because to make sure that they are up-to-date live links and with current information, they go straight to the market's webpage. So Indonesia goes and it's in Bahasa. Japan goes to theirs and it's in Japanese. But if you're familiar with the essential oils, you'll be able to see and pull out the key information you need, the PV tiers, what the oils are. Even though they may be in Bahasa or Japanese in the labels, you'll still be able to see what the oils are and kind of help educate those people. We have the essential rewards, the price list, product guide. All of that can be viewed on how it is run in the market. So that is also key for you when you're helping other people in other markets to understand how that works. Most everything runs the same as it does in the US. There are things, though, that are different. And so that's why each market has its own product guide, essential rewards details, and price list. Not all markets have the same size portfolio. Some markets have more oils than others due to regulatory reasons. Sometimes the essential rewards requires little extra things here and there according to market. So, and same with the enrollment process. So that's why we have all this. And as you scroll down, you'll see that enrollment process and what it looks like for that specific market. And then if you have any questions, although we would love to help you with global headquarters and we would love to help you at member services, sometimes the best contact is the market itself. And so we have their contact information right there. So you can call them or you can email them and get a hold of somebody in market that can more directly or more aligned help you with your specific need. If you're looking to travel and do some work in a market, we have the product information, so you can go visit a will call, possibly the office. Some of our offices, so the contact information is good to have. Some of our offices have meeting rooms that the members are allowed to use. And so you could have an event or a meeting in a specific market and go into Young Living's meeting room to have this event. And so it's just good to check with the office or the market to make sure that that's readily available. Oh, and then here's the social media information. So you can follow them on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook to see the most up-to-date needs and uses. And we have that is available for all markets. Down here in this bottom corner, you can see there's a quick jump back up to the top of the page. So you can search anywhere in Asia Pacific. We have an open market. Europe is all basically run from one office. So it has one tab. It's going to be a little bit different as you scroll down to the contact information. They have lots of email addresses that'll reach out to different people in different countries within Europe and best help you with what you need for enrolling people in Europe. Same thing we have here with Latin America. You can select anything in Latin America and then North America. If you're not sure how to enroll in the United States or you need any advice on the United States, you can always go to this tab. So I just wanted to point that out. Yeah, so do you have any questions for me on how these international pages work and can work for your business?
I don't right now. Casey, do you have one?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. No, I just wanted to say, wow, thank you so much. Yeah. That is so incredibly helpful. Last summer, I had a member in Germany ready to sign up, and it was a goose chase to try to figure out how to get her to sign up. I had no idea, and I just kept hitting dead ends. This is beautiful and wonderful, and I can't wait to dive in there. I had no idea that was available. That's incredible. Incredible. Good job.
Thank you. Yeah, so we haven't had it for very long. We have had, so here, we're going to take a flashback in time for all of you. This is what it used to look like.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
And here's your PDF.
Yeah, exactly.
And not the structure that you want.
No.
So, yeah, that's what it used to look like, and we got that fixed, thank goodness.
So helpful.
Thank you for that.
Okay, perfect.
Very good, Jared. Thanks.
All right. You're welcome. Thank you both.
Yeah, that was a project that Jared kind of spearheaded for us, and he did a really good job with that, getting that up to speed in time, especially for convention as well. So, yeah, thanks, Jared, for that. So, what are the questions, though, that you guys have as far as building internationally as we look at growing across the world that may be of an interest to you that we can answer and maybe just help provide at least a little bit more context to things that you have concerns about?
Yeah. I have a few questions. Heather or Casey, while you guys are on, do you want to ask any specifics?
Go for it.
Yeah, can you hear me, Nikki?
I can.
I had a couple of questions. Let's say we have members who are super interested in growing internationally, but they don't right now currently have people that they know in other countries, but are wanting to start traveling. How is the best way for them to go about doing that? Is the office there in?
That's a very good question, Heather. And I'll jump in. Boyd, feel free to jump in as well. That's probably a question we get asked a lot, is how do I get involved internationally? And just to be quite frankly, unless you really have a relationship with that market or know someone in that market, it is really difficult to kind of get established in. Because as we know, this business, Young Living and the business opportunity we have is based on relationships. It's based on connecting with people. And granted, there are those individuals who are able to, almost, it seems like they're able just to show up anywhere and they can connect with anybody, which I envy those people because they just have that natural ability of connecting with those individuals. But for the majority of us, it does become a challenge. And so if you don't know anybody in those markets, it is a lot harder because you have to be able to connect with those markets. Like if I don't speak Japanese, but being able to connect with a Japanese individual and trying to share with them the Young Living oils and who we are and our message it would be, quite frankly, very difficult for me just to go to Japan to do that. Even if the office was willing to help and provide additional support, but the fact that I don't speak Japanese or know anyone in Japan would make it very, very difficult. So that would be, and of course our office is more than willing to help out where we can, but my recommendation is if they don't have a contact in that market, it's going to be very difficult for them to connect.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think, there have been a handful of people that have been successful, but they've like either moved over there or went and spent 2 or 3 or 4 months over there, to develop those relationships. And so it's not common or an easy thing to do at all. I would say the easiest thing to do if you're wanting to build internationally is try and find connections here with individuals that have, that are from there or have connections into those markets, and use those connections to start, try and build locally and then spread out from there. The people that we've seen that are successful internationally, that's usually how it started. And sometimes it's not, it's just the people that they know and they know people, it's 2 or 3 people away, but somebody says, they're not really that interested in any kind of business opportunity, but they know somebody that is in another country, and, you can get a referral from them, and they're happy to do that. But it is a little tricky. You really do have to have the relationship. I haven't seen very many people just be able to do it from scratch.
Sure. Is there a platform that you're seeing working well for people in the United States to communicate with people in other countries?
Well, it's people use, I guess it depends on the market because they all kind of have their own. Okay. They have WeChat. They all have their own platforms that they use. If you wanted, but usually what you'll do is you'll find somebody here and they'll kind of connect you into that, because it's interesting. A lot of these markets, in order to get into those and actually be able to connect into those, you actually have to be referred in, and somebody has to sponsor you into those social sites. So you can't just go on your own. Okay. So it really kind of comes down to looking in your immediate circle of influence and people or the people that they might know, and trying to find people that way and make those connections that way. It's probably really is the easiest way to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, just to add to that though, there are so many social media platforms out there that do allow for individuals to connect internationally, right? So like Boyd was saying, WeChat is a commonality. WhatsApp, we're on a number of WhatsApp groups with our various markets and things like that. So there are those things. These Zoom calls allow for that connectivity and that relationship building, which is fantastic. Those are some of the platforms that we see people using to help drive and build that relationship and continue to support their business.
Yeah.
Okay, that's helpful. What about any printed international materials that might already be created by Young Living that would be able to access?
Yeah, usually it would be in the market. So if you're wanting something for a specific market, you would have to like look, go to to your VO and see what they might have available in their product guide, or contact them and see what they might have. They might have some printed product guides or other brochures that you might be able to access from them. But we don't have them here at Global Headquarters. We don't keep any inventory of any of those materials here.
Okay, for Europe, for example, like if I needed something in German, would I contact that office in London?
Yeah. The nice thing about Europe is it is a consolidated group. Their member services has all the languages and all the materials are all there. So you just call the London office. You can get anything for any market in Europe out of that London office. Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Okay, I'm just kind of going down my checklist. The comp plan is can you speak on a little bit on how the comp plan is different in different markets, or is it?
It's, at 95%, it's the same everywhere. So it's a global compensation plan. So you build legs and organization, you put them in your organization, just as though they were U.S. members. So there's not any differences. The couple of markets where that would be different is China, and now that we're opening Korea will have some differences, and those are just unique to, but they're not that significant. There's just some small tweaks that we've had to make to be able to comply with specific laws that they have about compensation plans. But overall, it's going to be exactly the same globally. You can tell the same story. You can talk about the same opportunity. Pretty much everything's exactly the same. You have ER everywhere.
Sorry, you weren't finished.
Go ahead. Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Just to clarify, in Europe, they do not have to purchase a starter kit. Is that correct? They can just purchase a product?
Yeah, that is one difference. There's a lot of countries where you can't require them to purchase a starter kit. But what happens is our compensation plan hasn't changed. They still have to meet those requirements in order to get paid. So even though we don't require it, everybody still does it. So it's just kind of how they present it. It's not necessarily
and maybe that's where the confusion came in when I was asking questions. So if I have a friend in Europe,
yeah,
and they want to become a Young Living member and get the product and all that. Sorry, I'm driving as I'm talking.
No, you're okay.
I'm in carpool, so it's not super dangerous.
Okay. I would say, wow.
I don't know. It could.
I'm impressed.
So they don't have to get the starter kit. They can just go on, start an account, and then they can grab their lavender and orange or cedarwood or whatever they might want, and then they're good to go. And then I would be able to place them if I needed to do that, because that would make them a member. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
They still have to meet the 100 PV a month in order to, to qualify for commissions. So all of those.
But if they're just to become a member. I mean,
just to become a member.
Saying,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Awesome.
Okay, great.
Anything else you can think of, Brandon, there on comp plan?
No, I think you've covered most of, the uniqueness that exists there. Most of the, like Boyd said, the compensation plan is pretty much universal. There are some unique enrollment elements, like, we can't force a starter kit like in Europe. Korea is the same way for us as well. But most of, as far as the compensation is paid out, it's pretty much the same. There may be some qualifications as far as how minimums are met within the various market, what's considered active versus not by regulatory or law. But for the most part, the compensation is pretty universal. We try to keep it 99% universal where we can.
Okay. And then one of my last questions is there any type of presentation, and I need to look in the VO. So is there a presentation that if somebody wanted to hop on Zoom, is there any type of international presentation that's available, like a PowerPoint for the different countries?
I don't think there's globally, there's not one. I think by market, I think some markets have some of those. I think you'd have to look at it by market. I'm just trying to think. I know Europe's working on. I know a lot of the markets are actually starting to work on those, but I don't think we're just really starting to do that at this point in time.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot published out there. I mean, it's definitely something, as Boyd's pointed out, something that I think we'd like to get to, having those presentations out there, so that more the fact that what Jared was able to do with those info pages and get those things was a kind of a start for us. And we're hoping to be able to add more to that down the road for sure. But yeah, like Boyd said, it really come to connect with the market. There may be some presentations and things like that they may have out there that haven't been published into the VO, but that do exist in the market, and the market should have or can connect you with those if they do have them.
Okay, great.
So if you just emailed their member services, they probably, you could probably get an answer to that on a specific market.
Great. And then the last question that I have is, as far as like grand openings, is the best way to know about grand openings ahead of time through the VO or through a Facebook page?
Yeah, it's right now we're doing it through Facebook. So we usually try, we announce it to the diamonds first in the diamond call, and then we'll have a Facebook page after that. So once that's announced, then you'll want to get on those Facebook pages and you'll just see the regular updates. And as we get closer to the launch, then the location, information about the office, information about the launch, and everything will be announced. Product lists will be announced, pricing will be announced. And so that's really kind of that is our tool for communication right now, is just Facebook pages on the markets that we have.
Great. Heather, any other questions you can think of?
Not really. It's interesting just because like you think there's this secret information out there that, that we're trying to all find, and it's really just kind of been difficult to just get exactly all that information. So I appreciate you guys taking your time out to share this with us for sure.
Sure. I'll tell you one thing that we are doing. So we're really trying to strengthen or trying to consolidate information around. We have a group here, International Support, and and we're trying to make sure that we're keeping them up to date on everything. And it's globally, we ask members globally to communicate with them by email. So if you wanted to ever email them with any questions, they're probably going to be the best source on any international markets, at least here in the US. Any questions you might have, or like if you wanted to know, hey, is there a Facebook page yet? They would be able to tell you right away. And so it's just international support at youngliving.com. So you might want to take note of that.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Great. I think that's all that I can think of, unless you all have any other questions, but I think we hit all the main topics, and just to be able to have this in one video, that when people ask us, what's the best way to go about sharing, in other countries, we can send them this, and then obviously the links in the VO have some screenshots of that, of where to go. So you guys are doing a great job. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. And we're really looking forward to growing all of our teams internationally. And we'll be reaching out if we have questions.
Yes, absolutely. We'd love to work with you.
Yeah, it's also good to meet you guys, and we're excited to hopefully see you guys out in some of these markets too with us.
Absolutely. Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you all so much.
Okay. Well, have a great day.
All right. Thank you.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.